So like this is because Seltzer is like a very reputable pollster. People were looking at Iowa being deep red normally. People were looking at this poll and being like, oh, it'll be like +5. If it's like +5 Trump, that is good for Kamala, right? So for this poll to just fucking come out +3 for Kamala Harris, it was nutty. But yeah, Seltzer's considered the gold standard, except she was demoted to the silver standard, I believe, for one of the caucuses that she did not participate in. Even if her poll is wrong, right? Like she has a pretty solid track record. She has a incredibly strong track record of being off by like basically 1 point. You know what I mean? If you look at like her last Iowa poll versus results here, I mean, this is a good example. 2022 Senate, R+12, R+12. 2020 President, R+7. Turns out it was R+8. 2027, R+4. Turns out it was R+7. 2018 Governor, D+2. It's R+3. 2016 President, R+7, R+9. 2014 Senate, R+7, R+8. 2012 Senate President, D+5, D+6. So as far as like pollsters goes, I mean, this is as reliable as you can be. You know what I mean? There is nothing you don't get more reliable than that in terms of polling. And also, yeah, the average Iowan voter just seemingly loves when the Democrats don't have a cracker ass president. You know what I mean? Iowans are basically like, give me a black Democrat. I don't want no white boy. Okay. What the fuck is this shit? Which is funny because it's like 98% white. They do. This is 2 for 2. Okay. That's where I disagree with you. Ours should be, by all accounts, absolutely crushing Dems, massive inflation, economic unrest, globally incumbent parties trash because of economic stuff, border unrest. No, this is not a normal raise. What are you talking about? Yeah, if Nikki Haley was running right now, it would be Jover. The fuck do you mean? This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is maxed out on his fucking base of support and has a very limited avenue to pick up new people. Okay, he was the president. He won once. He was the president for 4 years, and then he fucking lost. It's over at that point. People have made up their fucking minds about him. I think that's crazy to say Kamala winning is a wild upset. That's insane. If it wasn't Donald Trump, you are 100% right, but it's not. It's not someone else. It's Donald Trump. So if you're going up against Donald Trump, a person who already lost an election, yeah, it's pretty nutty that it's like this close. I mean, look, this could have been better for Donald Trump even against Kamala Harris, but Donald Trump is still Donald Trump. And he keeps reminding everybody how he is Donald Trump. And this is what I said about the Iowa poll, right? The Des Moines Seltzer poll. I said, look, you got Roe v. Wade, massively consequential. You got January 6th, okay? Which isn't necessarily like a threat to democracy or whatever, because like pollsters show that's not the top priority at all. But it actually spells that he's like a sore fucking loser and really narcissistic, which reminds everybody what they don't like about Donald Trump, okay? That's important. That is absolutely fucking important. You got J.D. Vance, massively consequential pick, massively awful pick for Donald Trump. That's a base pick. You already had the base. Good luck on that. You have tens of millions of dollars wasted on anti-trans ads. Shows that their priorities are in the wrong direction. Shows that they literally think that these are the top priorities. It's like, you're fucking stupid. Just talk about the economy, jackass. You fucking idiot. Talk about the economy. Talk about how you're anti-war, but you won't do that because you're Donald Trump. Then you have anti-immigrant screeds instead of messaging discipline on economy. Dog shit tariff plan, which was effectively countered as a mass sales tax, which I really liked. Kamala Harris's campaign has had a couple big W's. That was one of them. Okay. On the communication front, threatening to use the military on enemy from within, and these are the results. Every normie lib I know thinks the anti-trans ads are effective. I don't know why. Just stop talking to fucking liberals, please. Okay. The reason why normie liberals think it's effective is the exact same reason why they think Kamala Harris is brilliant for tacking to the right. Because they're 1, stupid, 2, terrified of Republicans, and 3, they kind of like Republicans at the same time. this race should not be close because of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is ass. And that much is 100% correct. Donald Trump is an ass candidate, and he doesn't have the juice that he once had. He has no way of like presenting himself as a fucking moderate. He's not doing a good enough job with that, and he's trying to fucking pick apart in this incredibly limited base of support that he has. He's trying to pick apart like conspiracy voters, and that is a notoriously unreliable type of voter to try and win over. Anyway, let's take a look. Let's do some poll watch, and we'll talk about Seltzer.
Chief Rick Klein is here with our latest poll with Ipsos. And this race, Rick, I mean, it is as close as ever.
Yeah, good morning, Janae. Our ABC News Ipsos poll has Kamala Harris just out this morning in 49-46 lead over Donald Trump. That's just a tick tighter than last week when we had the lead at 4 points, but it's all well within the margin of error. And narrowing into the 7 battleground states, guess what? Nothing changes. An identical lead, 49-46 across the 7 battlegrounds. But inside the individual battlegrounds, we still see a little bit of a different story. These are our 538 polling averages. Harris leading in Michigan and Wisconsin, but by less than a percentage point. Right now, trailing narrowly in the polling averages everywhere else, including Arizona. That's 2.5 points. But again, all of this is within any polling margin of error, and there's new polls even out this morning that would suggest a tighter race, even if that's possible here. And there are signs of discontent everywhere, particularly among voters for Donald Trump. But among all voters, 74% say that the country is on the wrong track going into Election Day. That includes half of Harris supporters, and wait for it, 98% of Trump voters say we are on the wrong track as a country. And 60% of voters say they are still dissatisfied with the candidates. And we finally found an area of bipartisan unity. 61% of Harris supporters and 57% of Trump supporters agree that they are dissatisfied with the candidates they are voting.
Damn, dog. I thought people loved Harris's campaigning. I thought that they thought that she was fucking hot shit. That's crazy. I wonder why people are saying that. I wonder how we got here again, dude. How the fuck did that happen? Now listen, and I've repeated this time and time again. She is not Hillary Clinton, okay? She doesn't have the metric ton of dissatisfaction, distaste, anger, resentment, hatred, and conspiracy theories that Hillary Clinton had, which is why it was fucking insane for the Democratic Party to be like, this is the candidate, and you're gonna shut the fuck up and you're gonna vote for her. She didn't have that. She doesn't have that, which is why, you know, this is not the end all be all, okay? Not the worst thing. She, however, is not a very good campaigner. She's just not. Doesn't have a lot of riz. She's black. America's racist. Oh, no, for sure. That definitely plays a role. America's also sexist, too. But guess what? What do I always tell incels? You got to play to your advantages, and you got to overcome your disadvantages, you know? That's it. I would never be like, oh, this person is a black woman, so she shouldn't run for president, especially if they have dope policies. You know what I mean? It don't matter. Like what? You think she didn't realize that America was racist and that she was a black woman running in a racist country? No, of course she knows that. What the fuck? That's precisely the reason why she didn't do the I'm with her style bullshit in the way that Hillary Clinton did.
Voting on this week.
Wow. And Rick, as for the battleground states, what are the candidates eyeing?
You consistently said that Hillary ran a bullshit campaign. What was it about her that made you a supporter of her back in the day? What do you mean? I was incredibly critical of Hillary Clinton and talked about how dog shit she was. But I also understood what it would look like for Donald Trump to be president. And I was right. I like that you said a major supporter of Hillary Clinton. I was like, no, this is unacceptable. You cannot have Donald Trump become president. That is devastating. That is devastating for the country's future, and I was right. Okay.
As their likeliest paths to victory at this point.
Yeah, and you heard Selena lay it out a little bit, but if the polls lined up exactly where things are in the Electoral College, if the polls are right, which is a big if, you'd have Donald Trump winning right now. 287 electoral votes, that's more than 270. But the polls, of course, are often off a little bit. So here's the scenario that Selena was talking about, the blue wall. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, if they all go for Kamala Harris, that is 270 electoral votes exactly. That means the presidency for her. For Donald Trump, a couple of different paths, but the likeliest, let's say he carries Nevada and Arizona, where he's been leading in the polling averages, Georgia and North Carolina in the South, historically more Republican. He just needs one more state And it could be any of the big three. Pennsylvania, the likeliest and the biggest prize. That is the biggest battleground. And it is close to a must-win as we see for both candidates. There's agreement on that this year as well.
And Rick, we were talking about this behind the scenes this morning, that poll out of Iowa that now shows Harris leapfrogging, leading Trump. 3%. What can we?
So this is because Seltzer is a very reputable pollster. People were looking at Iowa being deep red normally. People were looking at this poll and being like, oh, it'll be +5. If it's +5 Trump, that is good for Kamala, right? That means that there is a lot of still resentment for Donald Trump from the base. Maybe some people are not going to go out and vote. And people were looking to extract some kind of data from this that would be helpful for a national snapshot of what the broader electorate looks like. So for this poll to just fucking come out +3 for Kamala Harris, it was nutty. Guy for interpreting the Iowa Seltzer poll. Trump +0 to 5, great sign for Harris. Trump 6 to 7, solid result for Harris. Trump 8 to 9, +8 to 9, neutral. Mirrors close Rust Belt polling. Trump +10, not good for Harris. Anything more than 12 and is Jover. This is before the poll came out. That's what the analysis was, because Iowa is supposed to be super red.